wanna do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you wanna do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast.
Come? Alright, I'll do my own bit for myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.
Hey Dave,
Hey, Boater.
what is the best way to prevent World War III?
You know what? I work in education and retail. I really don't have an answer to that one.
Make Gabe Newell the Secretary General of the United Nations.
Yes. That is exactly what would happen. We're going to declare one of these people. Now, wait. Let's talk about development cycle for World War III. Let's talk about the idea of World War III. What are we doing?
We're really more of a civilization platform than putting out any new content.
Yes.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. I'm Boater,
I'm Dave, man.
and we have a whole bevy of cool, nerdy, geeky shit to talk about in the next hour. Sorry, I am extremely tired, so there is no filter between here and here. You're welcome, and I'm sorry, but only a little.
Now I can't stop picturing, because I know what Gabe Newell sounds like because he memed himself so often in the early aughts, but now I can't stop picturing Henry Kissinger with Gabe Newell's voice going like, we will have the Steam platform and you will download your games. It will be great. Everyone will have a great compromise. Like,
Let's kick things off with someone who did a dumb thing and got banned from Twitch.
is
Does
it
that sound
Machine Gun Kelly? Please tell me it was Machine Gun Kelly. I don't
No.
think he's on Twitch, but
No, it's a guy going by the name of Greek God X, or Greek God. I'm not sure if the X is supposed to be silent or not. It's like lowercase at the end, but
League
Anyway.
of Legends streamer?
see, he said the same thing. Maybe. I'm not sure. It wasn't in the sources that I've read because it was so just mind-boggling what he was banned for that apparently there wasn't room on the virtual page to say who he is in the first place.
Okay, so it's probably not the person that I'm thinking of then, because this person is in very good standing with the League of Legends community. Go
So
on,
this
please.
guy logged on, and basically the stream was a gigantic rant talking about current events, talking about I can't read my own ranting about other streamers and why he's single. At one point, he yelled that any woman who would date him should expect, quote, I'm going to sit here streaming, earn all the money, you're going to be in the kitchen cooking, cleaning, and making sure my home is fucking clean. I think I figured out why you're single there, bud.
Huh. That's an interesting thing to put on your dating bio.
I mean, like, a dude woke up and chose violence, and I respect that, but, like, maybe don't, because I respect nothing else about that. The whole, I have shit to say, and I have a platform, and I'm going to say it. I respect that at the base, most abstract level, but I don't respect at all what you said. So, that was earlier today. He's a musician and Rocket League streamer. Okay, so you were right with one of the words, league.
So what part of this rant got him banned?
Sexist comments. Like that was a
Okay,
was a
okay.
direct quote, but there was much more.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Twitch would never tell, but we can assume that the misogyny is a big part of it.
What's going on with people when they get partner? Do you forget that you work in entertainment? Do you
Mhm.
forget that you praise the almighty dollar just the same as everybody else? Except you get to generate content for a living instead of working a traditional 9 to 5 like the rest of us.
And I get that streaming is a full-time job or more. But this sentiment of, well, I'm going to be streaming all day and you're going to do all the housework is not a fair division of labor, no matter how much money you're bringing in. Like, that is not an equal relationship. Like, I don't care how much effort you're putting into your streaming, pull your weight around the damn house.
Dating advice with Motorbug.
Well, because, I mean, like, people are always like, oh, well, streaming would be so easy, you just sit there and play video games all day. And no, that's not it. You and I both know that there is more to it than that. But there's not that much more that you can't be a decent human being. What is this, the 50s? Funny you should say something, Dude Icarus.
It really does feel like we're just screaming back into the past. Like we've
I
had so
considered
much
for the opening
nostalgia for
joke.
past content that we just decided, let's also live that way since we like all this old IPs and shit like that.
I vetoed this idea as an opening joke because I didn't want to open the stream with it, but I was going to say, hey, Dave, want to hear a joke? Supreme Court of the United States of America, but it just...
That's
like,
not really a joke
no,
as much as it is just
no, like,
a
it's...
statement of her.
Yeah,
Um,
it's regressiveness, hooray! Anyway.
Mr. Wet, if he's so rich, why not hire a maid?
There! You pay someone to
Hire a
do
cleaning
your
service.
housework, whatever. Yeah. And then, you know what? Then your wife doesn't have to do that shit because you're such a big-time streamer making all them big bucks. That's a good call, Mr. Wet. That is a good call.
If that's the relationship this person's seeking, I hope that they don't ever find a partner. But if there's someone out there that's going to be the other half of that puzzle piece and be happy about it, great. Doesn't work for anybody here, but someone somewhere will like that on the internet.
Uh-huh. Anyway, that's who was banned within the last day, actually, but that's who was banned in the last 7 days.
Did it specify like what duration that was, or whether it was
did
multiple
not. It didn't
offenses?
specify that it was indefinite, but nor did I see in my couple articles of research that it was like, oh, well, it's just a 3-day or whatever. So it's fresh enough that they were probably just like, report on it, and maybe we'll get more details later about how long it is.
Dumb. Just so very dumb.
Dumb. Moving on. Dave, what you got
Speaking of
coming out soon?
dumb, your
Oh,
bank
boy.
account is going to be really stupid after this week.
Is it because I'm finally going to buy graphics cards because they're in stock?
I mean, there is that. Boy, howdy if
I have a
been
new egg
tempted.
cart ready to go.
Well, yeah, I've been looking at new computer builds and things, and then just suddenly crying, knowing that that's how much money I'll have to
Dave,
scrimp and save.
You got to
to
be really
do and
careful
get.
how loud you say that. Your car is just outside.
It is. It's already making a funny noise. It's already over for my savings. But in the next 7 days, there's 3 interesting titles that I've picked out for you, coming from diverse play groups, play styles, and all sorts of systems and operating systems for you to play on. The first one being an oldie that is now getting back into an era of self-referential to a certain degree, and that is presented first of all in a Nerd Division.
I feel like I'm tickling the box over here. It's a little...
We kind of are. This game is coming out for PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and the
Oh my
Series
gosh.
X.
That's
It
a
is-
franchise I haven't heard of in a long time.
Exactly. MX vs. ATV Legends is the moniker they're putting on this one. The thing I liked about the MX vs. ATV Legends website is they talked about the history of the MX vs. ATV line going back all the way to the original games in the MX vs. ATV, not the games that started like Supercross and all that. But this game is just like so many other MX vs. ATV. It is not, your game that you're necessarily going to see change the gaming as it goes and things like that. But they are adapting and they're adding more to their franchise and more to their installments. They are having the usual split screen, 2 players on one console can race, can be on a team, or you can do a 16-player online races and things in all sorts of styles. They did note that this game is going to have more open environments as opposed to previous installments, which were just the tracks
Okay.
and the time on there.
So like maybe a little bit of Forza Horizon influence. in
Yes.
that style.
They were specific to use the words open environments and not open world.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so
and-
never mind what I just said. That was pure speculation that turned out to be baseless.
That's because that's what I thought the first. I was like, oh hell yeah, an MX vs ATV game that's open world. And then I looked, I was like, no, they say open environments very specifically. So it's like, okay, you load a map and then you can kind of putz around
Yeah,
as you
know,
please.
cut corners and screw around off of the dirt track rather than just being hemmed in by hay bales, kind of thing. Yeah.
It looks like a good installment. If you're a fan of motocross, it'll see all the typical sponsors and things like that. And this game will continue to build into that MX vs ATV legacy. You can catch that on all these systems today.
Yeah.
The next game I'm really excited for, and I'm certainly pounding the pavement to be ready for, is not so much a full game release. At least it's not slated to be as such.
Okay.
But it is technically a DLC expansion, and damn it all, I love it so much. We're gonna... How dare you, Steve? How dare you, sir?
Boring Capcom time filler is how that's labeled after we hit the button.
How dare you, sir? That game is a classic. I am, of course, talking about the much lauded and greatly talked about Monster Hunter Rise expansion that was talked about when the game was first released,
Okay.
called Sunbreak. For those of you that haven't played the game, the whole premise of it is that the village you've been playing on in Monster Hunter Rise now for a year or two, depending on if you got it on Switch or on PC, Komura Village is finally safe. Or is it? New monsters, more characters, more worlds, all for the $40 price tag. Or...
Wow.
If you don't have Monster Hunter Rise at all, for $70, you can get Monster Hunter Rise and the Sunbreak expansion.
That is a sizable expansion.
Yes.
Really, wow.
As somebody that is usually very skeptical of DLC and things like that, all the monsters you are seeing here in this preview video are newly going to be added. Whole new maps, whole new characters, quest lines, all these things for your characters. The cool thing that I like about this, but will cause an issue when this comes out, is it is expansion based upon the end game of Monster Hunter Rise.
Okay.
So if you buy the game now, you have quite a road to get to. More specifically, you have to beat the 7-star quest, Serpent Goddess of Thunder.
I mean, a lot of things. So it's a lot of expansions, or at least back in my day, were like post-game kind of thing.
Yes.
I probably wasn't until around like 2010 or so that I started noticing expansions come out that you could do like in the middle of the game. And so even like DLC for Moonlighter, which I mentioned playing last year, is something that you play after you've played the main part of the game.
Yeah.
It's post-game content. And this being like, that feels like it's almost a sequel. Like they developed another half a game to play after you finish playing the main game, and that is
It's
wild.
part of the reason that even if I don't get to the level by this Friday, I will be purchasing the expansion this Friday. This update is also coming with a free update to the game to get you some new equipment, some new views, some new gameplay.
To whet your appetite a little bit for like, ooh, here's some of the new things.
Yes.
But I can get more of that if I get the DLC.
And
That's awesome.
I am really looking forward to fighting these new creatures, seeing these new things. But I'll have more to talk about that when we talk about what we're playing recently. But that's coming out on the 30th. It is coming out for both Nintendo Switch and for your PC players at the same time, as opposed to when the game first came out and it was released staggered, Switch originally, then PC later.
Demon Dragon noting, I never actually finished that Moonlighter expansion. Oops.
You will finish Sunbreak expansion if you wind up getting it, because it's going to be great! Upsetting, though, a little bit upsetting, that I already tried to find the amiibos, and they are already sold out.
They still make amiibos?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I want the monster amiibos.
Sorry,
because-
I keep getting confused because when Disney Infinity killed off their thing, I just completely forgot about figures for games still existing.
Because I
after
have the
that.
big bad from Monster Hunter Rise, Magnamalo, and I killed him recently, by the way, solo,
Unalived.
as a horn hunter. So, and now I want the statue of the next big bad, so that I can also kill him as a horn hunter.
And you can take them and you go, rawr, and you make them fight.
Yes. Well, in the packaging.
Rawr,
Just like,
bonk, bonk, bonk.
Just like I have at home, I have one of the Legend of Zelda ones, but it's the big laser launching Guardians.
Oh, yeah.
And I just, as much as I want to take it out of the box, I don't want to take it out of the box. So I
Did you
will
see the
just
cosplay someone made
bang
of
it.
one of those?
Yes. Oh, they're
It's like
so
it's
good.
weird. It like they refer to it as a cosplay, and yes, they're inside of it, and they can to some extent move around, but that's almost just like that is a piece of set dressing that you get inside of. That's not necessarily like I would argue. I don't know. Can you cosplay as a hillside?
Yeah.
I suppose. Actually, I think I've seen a Mount Rushmore cosplay as a joke somewhere. So okay, never mind. All right, cosplay.
Do cosplay as Monster Hunter Rise characters and creatures, and then come to Insane Games here in the Wilton Mall,
So Dave can go. Ah!
just like I did. And Mr. Wet knows about this. The time that the regular dressed as Godzilla and came to the booth, and they specifically had to go find me because they went to the wrong table, and I screamed so loud. Sam Chase was not amused, but it didn't matter because it was Godzilla and it was one of our regulars, and it was awesome. But I know what you're thinking. I don't have a Switch. I'm not really into the Monster Hunter franchise because it is a lot. It really is.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that game.
Yeah.
And maybe you're not a fan of dirt bikes. Maybe that's not your thing. I will say something very interesting coming out on the 1st of July is F1 2022. No Michael? Okay.
Sorry, I can't really do an F1 sound quite as much as others, but I tried.
So, on the 1st, this game will be coming out for, if you've heard me talk about F1 games in previous installment, you'll hear this, Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and the Series X. This one getting an interesting release cycle in that they used to be exclusively released on Steam.
Okay.
They are now mainly based out of the EA Origin store and will be appearing in the Epic Store and on Steam. An interesting expansion. This is using the 2022 season, so the new car models and physics.
Yeah, I noticed the new wheels for F1 cars that came into the 2022 season.
So cool. So very jet chic. Updated tracks, adding the Miami Grand Prix. So finally, the U.S. starting to get into some of this. But
The same Grand Prix that had the like fake marina with boats just sitting on like blue concrete to say
I
it's dockside.
wish. Oh God, I miss those games. This one though, and the big reason it gets, they still got the Texas GP. Yeah, nobody respects that one. Nobody respects it. This one adding what will be the feature that will set this one apart. In so much as if you have it on PC and you have an Oculus, you have an HTC, you have all these other VR headsets, you can play in VR in an F1 car. That's right. You can be responsible for destroying millions
That would be cool.
upon millions of dollars of Formula One race
Racing
cars.
games have a hard time sometimes showing the impression of speed. VR will fix that real quick. You realize just how fast those things go and stop and go.
As somebody that has watched a lot of, I've watched some of Steve playing it, but I watched a lot of CJ Playmaker play it. Damn, those cars are scary. Like,
Yee.
yeesh!
Yee.
You think your mom drives fast out of the parking lot of that Walmart after you caused the scene. Wait till you try this game.
Dave, is there something you'd like to tell us?
I want that toy, and I will scream and cry until that toy is mine. But that's neither here nor there. That Pokemon card's to mine. But those are the next 7 days of games coming out and things like that. So, Boater, have you been watching anything, playing anything? What's been on your ticket?
On Wednesday, was the final episode of a little series called Obi-Wan Kenobi, which I understand you are also now caught up on.
Yes, I am now fully caught up. I watched the entirety of it from the beginning of episode 3 until 5.
Okay. Cool. And then you did watch episode 6 that came out, most recent one, like the finish of the series.
Yes. Is the finish of the last episode Uncle Ben saying, "Do you want to meet him?"
Yes.
Then yes.
Uncle Ben. I mean, it fits. Rip Uncle Ben eventually. Yes. So spoilers now. Thank you, Steve, for catching that before we got there. But I cried.
Really?
No. So I didn't cry at Do You Want to Meet Him? Whatever. I cried at Alderaan when Obi-Wan kind of kneels down next to Leia and says, "When I said that I didn't know your parents," and then he lists off all of the wonderful qualities that made Anakin such a good friend to him and that he so respected in Padme that he saw in Leia. I straight up cried. I didn't get a little misty or a little teary-eyed. I bawled. I went from 0 to waterworks in half a second.
All I could picture when he was talking about his parents was the amount of times that Kenobi has gone, "Anakin, no." And just then opposite of whatever that situation is. And then also the phrase, which is uttered in so many different Star Wars franchises, "Anakin, did you clear your protocol droid after the mission?" And he went, "Yeah!" And then wandered down the hallway with R2.
Yeah, sure.
That's all I could think about was like, your father didn't like rules.
I really enjoyed so I enjoyed the series. It's interesting because taken as a series of separate episodes, it doesn't work quite as well as say Mandalorian, because Mandalorian is individual episodes or sometimes a two-parter that have their own complete story but nonetheless tell an overarching
Yeah.
story. Obi-Wan Kenobi was a mini-series that is best watched binged. Anakin, yes! Anakin, always yes!
No, that's Ahsoka's line, not Obi-Wan's.
And, like, there are episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi that I enjoyed, but of course the fandom has the attention span of a fucking goldfish. And it's like, oh, well, nothing happened in this one. Why are we focusing on this? I don't know, it's like, my dude, this is setting up... Why are we taking so long with Leia? Who cares what she's doing? Dude, this is how you set up stories. This is how you...
Also,
This is how you set up a plot arc. You take the time to set that stuff up. So in a film, you do that. You take the time to do
Yeah.
this kind of thing, and then you are able to pay it off within the same sitting. And this being what essentially amounts to a 4 to 5 hour film is what this basically shakes out to, which I'm fine with, as long as you give me space for intermission to grab a snack and take a whiz. Yeah, it works. Thinking of it like now that the season is out as a whole, I think that the people that were like, they're like, are open-minded enough, right, to look at it and realize, yes, okay, that was needed for where we're going.
Mr. Wet saying the broken helmet Vader scene with Obi apologizing, probably one of the
Yeah.
moistest, slippery Star Wars scenes of all time. And then Mr. Wet admits that he had a stiffy during the whole duel. Come on!
I mean, the line that Vader gives of like, what is it? Anakin was not your failure. I killed. I
Yeah,
forget the
you didn't
exact...
kill Anakin. I killed
Yeah.
him.
Oh, I am not your failure. You didn't kill Anakin. I did. Something along those lines was such a good line.
You know what I really wish we could do? Then snap cut to Obi-Wan literally listening to like raindrops fall, and he's a little like walking like this. Because the second, like, that's 90% of his like.
You can see the weight lift from his. You can see the weight lift from his shoulders, but also his soul still sinking.
Oh yeah. Well, your best friend's dead. But now the good news is he can grieve his friend being dead instead of grieving his friend that he killed.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
That's a whole different. It's a whole different reeling with the fact that, like, well, now I know that walking respirator is not my friend. Like,
Yeah.
also, how funny that Obi-Wan once again, for the billionth time, managed to pull a Anakin, look over here while I'm doing this over here with that ship. Hilarious.
Yep. I mean, I like the meme of like, now, how did Obi-Wan get you last time? He had the high ground. He had the high ground. So what did you do this time? I pushed him down into the ground, and then I had the high ground. Very good. Then what did you do? I gave him all of the ground. Oops.
That's all I could think about was that duel was stop throwing rocks at that man. Stop throwing. You should.
This man is geologically superior to you. Stop it. I will say, like, so the series in general sometimes isn't shot the best. Like the chase scene in the first episode where they're like chasing Leia, they're so very like, I thought it was a staged thing that Bale was doing to like try to frighten her into whatever, because, oh no, the stick got in my way, and the bad guy's like, oh, she's getting away. Like, it was just so poorly shot. It reminded me of the speeder bike chase in Boba Fett. Like, Disney Plus is having some troubles with chase scenes shot on the volume right now. One of the shots with the airspeeders, the T-47s, were they? Were a little odd. And then the final duel, each time they cut back to the duel, they did the top-down thing, like looking straight at the ground through all the pillars of rock. And that's a really cool shot one time. It's annoying after that. We get it. You found a cool shot, but use it sparingly.
Turn the whole damn Star Destroyer around.
And then I'll face him alone. Yeah, you went down in a shuttle
good.
anyway. Had the division of labor, Vader. Go ahead and send them in the Star Destroyer. Keep chasing these proto-rebels.
Absolutely.
And then take your shuttle. Why did you take a shuttle and not your cool bomb-ass TIE fighter?
So, I liked that.
I guess it was a little early for the TIE Advance X one.
For me, that's a callback to the Darth Vader comics, because the Emperor specifically reams him out about this exact topic.
Actually, that's true.
Like, you get so single-minded about this shit, and you miss the bigger picture. Like,
yeah, actually, that admonishment he got at the end of the series was really good and kind of feeds into his character growth still.
I loved everything about that whole visual of the rebel, this alliance is getting away, and there's the Grand Inquisitor standing there. First of all, that particular Grand Inquisitor.
Oh, yeah.
Standing there.
The Grand Inquisitor.
being like, Your Lordship, maybe we should just. Nope,
Dude,
never mind.
Wikipedia was on top of that as soon as episode 5 came out. It was the Grand Inquisitor until 9 BBY, and then the third sister 9 BBY to non BBY, and then the same Grand Inquisitor 9 BBY until. But yeah, like just at the end where Vader's like, oh yeah, so here's my plan. I'm gonna keep going after Kenobi, and the Emperor's like, you're going to what? I'm gonna forget about Kenobi and work on your empire. Fine.
Wanted a scene where Vader returns to the ship all busted up and no one says anything, just silently judging him. That absolutely happens. Mm-hmm. That's why the scene in the fourth film where like all the Imperial generals are so sassy to Vader, they're like, well, your faith in a lost religion, because they're like thinking about the 1.5 million times where Vader was like, and then we crashed the ship into the moon. Like, let's not have him be the one in charge. Like, Vader's a loose cannon cop on the edge. And then he throws his master over the edge, which is just hilarious.
So yeah, Obi-Wan as a series, I enjoyed it. It's not something I was asking for. I'm always like, give me new stories and not stuff with the same characters. I'm glad we have it. I'm looking really forward to Andor. I think it's the next one. So yeah.
Dear
Anything
Star
else?
Wars, keep giving us background characters, development of these planets we hear in the background. Like, please just keep exploring, because you have billions of billions. We are in a galaxy
us some
far,
High
far
Republic
away.
stuff.
Yeah, give us a galaxy far, far away. I really loved the story arc of the fake Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Every single minute of that,
cool.
I was like, I'm in. Like,
All right, we do have more to go on to, so I think we'll move on from Kenobi if that's cool.
Yeah, fantastic show.
Yep.
Once again, continues to build on, and I'm really actually the only thing I was really upset about was the fact that we didn't get any actual Tusken Raider actual Tusken Raider action.
Oh
They
yeah,
just
yeah.
unsubtly mentioned to poor young Luke where they got in his face and they're like the Tusken Raiders, they're going to kill the family.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to like.
Yeah, it's like, and it worked for the kind of background threat for where they are.
I was really stoked when I was thinking about that. I'm like, how are they going to tell Luke there's a very powerful space wizard coming to murder you and we
Yeah.
have to protect you? And they just instead they're like, it's the fucking Tucker's Raiders. Let's throw them under the bus.
And then he doesn't see a
Like-
lightsaber the entire time.
Nope.
So, all right. Also on Wednesday, I had tickets for Game Grumps Live down in Albany.
Cool.
That was at 8 o'clock at the Egg, and I realized that I had these tickets at 9 o'clock in Queensbury.
Really?
I fucking forgot.
Oh no.
I was in such a bad mood for like 24 hours. It would have been so good to go to that, and just it. I didn't put it in my calendar. Steph did, and then her calendar decided not to give us a notification until well after the fact. It was really disappointing. So I'm sitting there like that, that night, Wednesday, after having come off the high of Obi-Wan and then the low of having missed Game Grumps Live, and I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna start playing Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Nice.
So I've been playing that, and I've been really enjoying that as well. I've gotten to, was it Cobalt Coastlands, and yeah, having a good time. Like it's passing the time well. I'm not like super invested, but I'm enjoying my time with it.
Who's your starter?
Oshawott. That's
Good
how
choice.
that was it.
Good
Yeah,
choice.
which is a really weird third evolution. It's like, hi, I'm an otter. Hi, I'm still an otter, but like angrier. I'm a sea lion now.
You
Okay.
big ol' smashy samurai sea lion too.
Like I get that thematic progression, from like commoner to like soldier, all that. I get that thematic progression. But the animal changing, I'm enjoying it.
Good.
What about you? What have you been watching,
So, like,
playing?
Caught up on Obi-Wan, was really stoked about that, and getting to see it, experience it. And I've been dividing my time between new game in the play group I play with Love Alec. We're playing a game called V Rising.
Okay.
And if you've ever been a fan of vampires and that whole aesthetic of like being in a coven and doing these things and having daytime, nighttime life cycle, things like that, where the daytime, if you're in the sun, you get injured, and if it's nighttime, like things are more likely to be asleep, and you can sneak up on stuff. It's fun, and I'm really enjoying playing, especially because everyone else is very more experienced with the controls and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So when I inevitably get myself stuck on a wall or am
Guys, what do I
confused-
do?
Yeah, like all that going on. And then the other thing I've been doing is grinding Monster Hunter Rise, because I want to play that expansion. And I also it kind of stuck in my craw that like Magnamalo continued to wag his gigantic monstrous middle finger at me and my village, and I thought that couldn't stand. So I beefed up, I geared up my gear, and there's something I will say that leaves to be desired in Monster Hunter Rise, or Monster Hunter franchise in general, which is that gearing up in many games is a matter of getting the right materials together to get the things.
Mm-hmm.
Monster Hunter Rise, I like that there are no microtransactions, and there never has been to
Yeah.
get these materials and things, but you will have to grind to get these materials. There's no way around it. So if you need a carapace of a particular monster, you have to go kill that monster yourself, and you might have to kill it a couple times to get that exact piece. So I ground the game to get myself up to a level 4 or higher armor set, and then I upgraded my my instrument, which I really love, the the bard characters in
Uh-huh.
Monster Hunter because I'm playing an instrument and it's a big stringed thing that's about the size of this table. And your character hefts it over their shoulder, and you swing it around, and you hit stuff with it. But then inside, you hear like little tunes and little strings and this and the other, and you can heal your party. You can do different effects, and just having a grand old time. So if you need help in Monster Hunter Rise, look no further than your good old friend Dave, because I will gladly heal you and also damage the monster for an average of 30 damage per hit. And was having a fantastic time with that. Um, and then Fall Guys, just
Yep.
getting it set for tomorrow, getting it ready, and just replaying it because there's so many new game modes and so many interesting things going on.
Yeah, it's got a really good shot in the arm.
Yes, that and watching baseball because Boder, if I've learned anything about my San Francisco Giants and about the Giants in general, if your name is Alex and you're a pitcher on the Giants, stop it. You're bad. You're making us look bad. Stop it. They did so bad on the weekend Wednesdays. Ugh! I did so good with Steve. My pitcher hung in there. And then I faced CJ. And by the third inning, he'd already thrown well over 30 pitches. The guy's like standing there going like, I don't know, coach. I'm just going to keep potatoing the ball. Like,
I don't know. This seems to be not working, so I thought I'd keep trying it.
if you see me live playing MLB The Show, I will forewarn you that I have an audience requirement where there are mound visits and they're very dramatized in cinema and things like that. And I decided I like that and I'm going to incorporate that. So I always have guest mound visits where people get to either speak to my current pitcher, whether they're doing well or not so well. In the case of the Alexes, but you can check out a clip of Amp giving one
Oh
of my
my
pitchers
gosh.
quite the what for in the clip section down below. And then I did enjoy the contrast in when I was facing Amp on Sunday. Our friend Josh came in, and he doesn't really know baseball, but he does know like leadership and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said to him, I was like, "All right, Josh, you got to talk to this pitcher because he's really fucking it up for us."
And that just gives a TED talk.
So what he did was he looked and he went, "Well, buddy, there's really no bones about it. You're really messing it up out here, and we need you to stop. That's it." And, then, and I was like, "That is, Josh, that was perfect. That's exactly the right amount of guilt that you need." I was also furious because I realized that this game. I play sports games. I enjoy playing them. My friends play them. CJ Playmaker has leagues, and they are a lot of fun. And you could be involved too because you can have any experience base. But Madden lets me have roster control, which means that, for example, punters, my football team doesn't use them.
Okay.
Just will never have them. The game will continue to force me to get one, and I will continue to fire them right off the squad the second it's available.
Negatory. Bye-bye. Farewell. Adieu.
MLB The Show, on the other hand, learned from seemingly that roster experience, and they didn't give me full roster control. They don't let me arbitrarily send pitchers down to the minors and pull other
Come
pitchers up,
on.
and I want so badly to get rid of both of my Alexes. So bad. All I have to do, though, is the second they get hurt, though, then I can ship them. And I can choose to send them, put them in a cardboard box marked for the back of a CIA black site where they can sit there with the Ark Covenant and all those other cool things that Indiana Jones screams about belonging in a museum. So that's what I've been playing and gaming on recently. And I know, Boder, you've been doing some really fun stuff in Raft recently.
Yeah,
That's been really cool.
Still playing Raft with Sam. I'm really happy with like a full integrated engine room and just everything's coming together. We finished Tangaroa, which I think was the last thing from the second chapter of the
Cool.
game. The final chapter of the game just dropped. We weren't quite up to that point, but we already, in finishing up exploring Tangaroa, we like, oh, here's a new character, which basically means a different skin that you can equip outside of the game. And yeah, just it's going well. So
Nice. Good.
let's so
Oh my god. Okay, I saw there was some
Okay.
activity going on in the Nerd Glasses Topics on the Weekend Wednesday Discord.
Okay.
Our good friend Rafe Wolf posted a Game Rant article with the title of Diablo Immortal actually requires over $500,000 to max character.
Yep, because the original math was coming out to around 100,000, but then it was discovered that there's a way to like perfect a gem to open up 5 more slots on it.
Holy fuck! What a thing!
Yeah.
Jesus!
Talking about other monetary scams, in our NFT roundup, there's a restaurant in California called Bored and Hungry, which is themed after the Bored Ape NFT drop that made it got everything all so big. And of course, one of its things was that it would also accept cryptocurrency for payment. Well, it doesn't accept crypto anymore. The crypto restaurant does not accept crypto for payment.
Do they have pictures of the bored monkeys on the restaurant?
Yeah.
Yes!
Yeah. It's so fucking stupid. But yeah, they no longer accept crypto as payment because it is so undervalued. And to be fair, most people that have any amount of crypto are like, well, I'm going to hold on to it for when the market goes up again, rather than having the mindset of, I better get rid of it now while it's still worth a pittance, rather than absolutely nothing.
Did have none of them read any history books on the original market crash? Nobody? None of you? You're not gonna you just crack it just a little bit. It's a little bit of a little peeky.
When
just to
people
see how
stop
that went.
accepting your currency is worthless.
I mean, Istanbul was Constantinople, so you know, you gotta.
Yeah,
gotta
that's
listen.
nobody's business but the Turks.
It's true. That's very true.
I will let you take the next. Actually, so I'll mention it now. Um, as much as I have that up, and I was kind of looking forward to that, I'm not going to have the energy for Citadel tonight, so we
Okay.
can go a bit over time with Nerd Glasses. I know we have a ton of topics. We still haven't gotten to the Nintendo topic that we wanted to talk about, where past Steve had just been patiently waiting in the wings. So
Past Steve of 4 hours ago.
yeah, it's great. I'm pretty sure that Dave, you'll be able to hear yourself in the background of this one.
Oh, actually, it's so I hope Past Steve is okay because he's working right now while the Nintendo Direct's going on. Hopefully, there's not many customers in the store. So you know what? While we're doing all that, we'll come back to Diablo Immortal because
Yeah, Let's
biffed it
come
pretty
back
bad.
to that.
But let's throw it over to Steve with today's Nintendo Direct. Steve, please tell me there's some news on the release of Advance Wars for the Switch.
Joke's on you. It's like 9:30. I shouldn't be here. I should be driving here. But
That is dedication, getting here nice and early, and then you say it's 9:30 and it's 8:30 now, and spoiler alert, you're still here. So that is dedication there, Steve.
Thank you. The Direct today had no major first party news. So no Advance Wars, no Zelda, no Metroid, no, I guess kind of a new Mario game, but
So no Zelda news.
Kind of a new Mario game. That
So-
feels like bearing a lead
So like,
somewhere.
no Zelda news, or like no Zelda news where they just slid a little trailer our way.
no Zelda news at all.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Dave. Next time.
Starting off with the Direct, Super Bomberman R is getting a sequel at some point. It looks fun. There's a lot of different topics in the Direct as well. Mega Man Battle Network is getting a collection. The old Game Boy Advance games.
Ooh.
Coming out next year for...
I was about to ask if that was going to be on home console or portable, and then I realized the Switch is both. So, never mind. Continue. Listen, I
yes,
still have a hard time
sucks.
wrapping my head around it.
They are multiplying. I have prepared for this exact...
Oh my god, they are!
This is how you're going to be able to tell before and after the Great Sonic Reckoning of Nerd Glasses, is how many Sonics are still there. We will fight Sonic one day. We will.
Hold on, I was facing too high up. I need to have this up as reference. Steve, please continue.
Yeah, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection coming to Switch, PC, and PlayStation. No Xbox, as far as I'm aware.
That
Pac-Man
was a
World's getting a
moist.
remastering. August 26th, Pac-Man World Repack. It's looks pretty fun.
Nice.
Now for your Mario news. Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope will be launching October 20th. There will be a video kind of treehouse demonstration tomorrow morning. I think at noon, so not morning.
And for those of you that poo-poo the Mario Rabbids franchise, if you have younger folk in your camp, that's a perfect game to play with them and let them play and help them expand their gaming library into other deeper games in the future. So
There was something on TikTok that I did this week that was like, name something that's better than it has any right to be, and the Mario and Rabbids games are that better than they should be, considering the
the Rabbids games well outpunched their IP and
oh
how
yeah
good those games
oh
are.
yeah.
Like
And
Sorry, continue.
if you look hard enough on the eShop during like Ubisoft sales and stuff, it's the gold edition is constantly on sale for like $20
Nice.
with all
Hell
the
yeah.
Donkey Kong DLC. But Sonic Frontiers is officially coming to the Switch this holiday. I don't know.
Sonic Frontiers. What kind of game is that?
That's the open world 3D Sonic game.
take my money, please. Take my money, please. I want it. I want to go fast.
I'll just wait for Game Grumps to play it and for Aaron to yell about everything that they did wrong.
I want to eat chili dogs. I want to run fast. I want to crap my pants and be so far away from it that people will go, "What's that smell?" But I won't be there because I'll be over there eating chili dogs.
You'll be crop dusting the smell with you the entire way.
Yep, doesn't matter. People can't be mad if they can't see you. They can smell you though.
Boater picked the perfect shirt for today. The Portal Companion Collection is launching today on Nintendo Switch. For $20, you get Portal, Portal 2, and Portal 2 co-op. All in one package.
Which, considering
Perfect.
a lot of the time when
Perfect.
stuff is dropped on there, it's like $40, $60, whatever. $20 for two fantastic games, even though they are 11 years old, 13 years old at this point. 15, sorry, 13 and 15 years old. They're old. They're old games. But $20 is still a steal for both of them together.
If you haven't played them yet, that is the best way to get your hands on that complete experience
Do you still
and that
have-
complete arc.
Do you still have your footage from when we played Portal 2
Yeah, of
together?
course.
Okay, I still need to get that from you. This was years ago.
This one was not in the direct, but it has come to my attention on Sunday during a NASCAR rain delay that we got footage and visual of NASCAR 22 that comes out this fall for the Nintendo Switch. It wasn't part of the direct, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool as hell, and I hope that game is good and playable.
It looks like shit. It looks like NASCAR Heat Ultimate Edition for the Switch. And moving on, Persona 5 Royale.
With cheese.
October 21st for the Switch. And Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden will be coming soon. No release date, but soon.
Nice.
And that is all I give a shit about in the Nintendo Direct.
So
Back.
Yeah, so it was a lot of like there were some big names in there. It wasn't like first party Nintendo, but it was like Nintendo B and C level games, which are still, for Nintendo B and C level, is still like, those are big things. It's not your Mario, your Zelda, your Fire
Yeah.
Emblem, whatever.
I chatted with this because there's a couple other things that Steve didn't touch on, but they're all small games that you wouldn't
Mhm.
have normally seen, and I really like that in the absence of an E3 of the way things used to be done, we're getting these great opportunities to be exposed to games you wouldn't have normally have seen, things you wouldn't have heard of, game companies getting a huge boost as opposed to being in a booth next to the Nintendo booth at E3. They're now featured in the Nintendo presentation
Yeah.
and things like that.
That's a good point.
It's been so far a boon in getting us, the gamers, and us, the people that report on games, so much more information and so much cool things to see rather than just hearing about the big name franchises and then kind of being surprised when a game shows up at your local GameStop
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah, I'm going to try that out. Like, but Steve, as always, thank you, dude, for watching this, for doing the synopsis, and for putting in the work here on a segment that we have to name. Should it be like Steve at the cons or like
Something like that. We'll figure it out.
Convention Steve?
Past Steve, think about it, and when it comes to present day, you'll have had plenty of time to think about it. Thanks so much.
Back to you guys.
So hey, present day Steve, now that you've thought about it, you got any ideas for that segment name?
That's a good
Did you
question.
not see where I was
also-
going with that?
Also, if you want to continue doing this work, because Lord knows between doing all the clips, opening at the store, and
you
doing
do
all the other
so
stuff that
much
you do,
for this show. Let's everybody round of applause for everything that Steve does that often goes unmentioned, except when he puts something really wonky into. Oh my God, there's more Sonics.
I have filled
It's the
this
Steam
whole
Deck.
wall up with Sonics for each segment I'm gonna be doing. If freaking
Oh no!
You know what? Then this segment must continue.
I mean, yeah, if he has
I-
that many Sonics planned, there. Oh my God.
I only ask that once the screen gets totally covered in Sonics, you start covering it in conspiracy baseballs.
Oh my God.
That
No, it's gonna be a
this-
Where's Waldo of like there's a conspiracy baseball in all the Sonics.
yes.
I'll Photoshop a conspiracy Sonic.
By the way, folks, I know
Yes.
there's been a lot of folks asking at home, how can we get our own conspiracy baseball? And don't worry, it's in the works that Insane Games TV will be selling our own branded conspiracy baseballs. And so many more things.
Or just piss us off and we'll throw it through your window.
I mean, same will work. Same will work.
Dice. I forget exactly the EA studio that does
Yes.
Battlefield.
Yes.
They said recently that they are all in on Battlefield. They've been working on that. And in 3 years, we want to be the first-person shooter powerhouse that DICE deserves to be. While talking about this, they confirmed that, yeah, they don't have time for any of the other properties, which, as a Mirror's Edge fan, is extremely disappointing. Also means that they're not being tapped to work on Star Wars or anything like that. They are the Battlefield studio now. And like they kind of were that before they came out with Mirror's Edge, and then like they've had the chance. They've in the past, Battlefield has given them the opportunity to do some really fun things. Conspiracy baseball plush, I would want that. They've had the chance to do some really fun things because Battlefield is successful enough that it gives them the leeway to then work on to do a passion project, which
Yeah.
is what Mirror's Edge was, which is kind of what Mirror's Edge Catalyst was. They did so well that they were given the opportunity to do the newer Star Wars Battlefront games. And it's just really disappointing for them to be all proud of like, yeah, we're going all in on this game that is not super well received, but we're just gonna keep plugging at it. Gonna make it work.
Where I totally get where you're coming from. I respect the fact that that horse has been dead for a while, and they continue to try to revive it. I do respect in so much as that was a AAA $59.99, $69.99 if you bought it on PlayStation title release day, and it's not right. And they really are, as a AAA developer, trying to make it right.
I get, yeah,
And
definitely. It's
This
I get that like to some extent they could have said, yeah, we are putting everything into we're not moving on to the next game. We are working on this game. They specified, was it 2048 is the current one? They specified 2048 that they are putting that into. It just kind of stinks when they say, "Oh, for the next 3 years, they're going to be working on this," which means not even getting started on another game that isn't Battlefield.
yeah.
Like it would have been one thing if they said, we're not moving on to the next game until this game is something that we can all be proud of. It's another thing to say, yeah, we're not going to do anything else. It's a subtle difference, but it is an important difference, I think.
it it is kind of funny because it looks like DICE were sitting there watching CD Projekt Red's dumpster fire they were having over there, and they literally went, "Okay, we're not gonna do that." Like, but the problem is they decided to literally do the opposite of that, and
Yeah.
now they're having the problem of
There is
like,
middle ground to be found. Dave, it's really funny that you bring up CD Projekt Red. I don't normally like to do 2 topics in a row. I like to go back and forth.
Yeah.
But this segue is too good
Yes,
because
please.
there was a report that came out. A whistleblower that worked on Cyberpunk 2077 sent a 72-page document to the YouTube channel Upper Echelon Gamers that has previously done reporting on the botched development cycle of Cyberpunk 2077. Um, it was talking mostly about the relationship between CD Projekt Red and the QA studio that worked on it, Quantic Lab. And there's a ton of accusations about how it went wrong and why the game shipped as poorly as it did. There were 3 kind of main bullet points that are takeaways. One of them is that first off, Quantic Lab over-exaggerated the size of the team to CDPR so that they could keep the contract. Like, I don't know the numbers involved. It might be in the report. I didn't get the chance to watch
that's
the follow-up
still
on the
really
report.
bad to hear. Like,
But if in order to keep the contract they needed to have 300 people working QA and they only had 200 or 150 or something like that. No, we totally have enough people to do this. Oh, and everyone working on this, says the second bullet point, they're senior developers who have a lot of experience working on this kind of thing and finding bugs and reporting them and doing it in such a way that is going to be properly prioritized. They weren't. They were junior staff with under 6 months experience in the field that were doing the lion's share of the QA work on the game.
you know, while we're talking about these two companies, the very Jenga puzzle esque game that is bug fixing.
Yeah,
Where one
there's
line
so
of
much that
code
goes into it.
fixes this, but then
It can
breaks those
cascade.
3 things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Mr. Wet saying actually like Cyberpunk. And the thing is, there's a lot to like in Cyberpunk. It just shipped very, very buggy, especially on previous gen consoles. Like some major game-breaking bugs that either were not caught in QA or the third bullet point says they were caught, but because there was a daily quota of bugs, this is a game-breaking bug, was buried under bullshit, 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 bullshit. And there just, I guess, wasn't a proper enough way to prioritize it to say this is what needs to be fixed. There wasn't a lot of focus on this breaks the game. We are exploring how this breaks the game, what exactly triggers it from a whole bunch of different angles. It was just like, all right, report it, move on to the next one. Report it, move on to the next one.
you know why Mr. Wet was able to enjoy Cyberpunk? Because he played it on Xbox. PlayStation, of the two of them, was the one that was marred with infinitely more game-breaking
Really?
bugs.
Well, because current generation Series X and PS5, I thought they were more or less.
Yes.
Yeah.
They weren't great, but they were Bethesda games at release where there's bugs. But
yeah, but
if
they're not
you're-
game-breakingly
Yeah.
awful. Whereas the Xbox One and PS4, those were hot garbage that were delisted from their stores and all that. We covered that at the time.
Also, if you've watched Mr. Wet play video games, Wetro Wednesday, Dream Team, Wednesdays
out.
here on Insane Games TV. First of all,
Follow,
check that out. Because you will see that he doesn't get bogged down with stuff. Difficulty.
What do you mean this is going to
not
break
really
the
a
game?
thing.
Not if I break it first.
Yeah, not if companies like Team Ninja, companies like our good friends who developed Dark Souls and things, they fear gamers like Mr. Wet. They really do. But so,
Played
yeah,
it
so
on the One X. Definitely had a few bugs though. Okay, yeah, like the One X. I think even Xbox was like, you can do that. Definitely don't play it on a regular one.
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Still to this day, people are getting through it now and having a good time.
Yeah, like I wouldn't have when it released or leading up to it, but like this year I'm probably going to be fine like throwing Cyberpunk on my Christmas wish list because at that point it will have been repaired enough and decent enough, and I have a Series X that I can do that.
going to be $10.
Yeah, which leaves room for more games to fill up the monetary span of Christmas shopping. Spend from this to this. Cool. Well, this is $2 over here. Did you just
So-
kiss your whatever?
No.
Anyway, yeah.
Um,
So, QA was a shit show on Cyberpunk
that's
2077,
so unfortunate.
and we knew that, but this is like more insider. Like, here's how those breakdowns happened.
That's so unfortunate. That's really unfortunate, but at the same point, it kind of it. I'm a fan of CD Projekt Red. I like the stories that they tell. I like what they do, and this, to be honest, counts more as a admonishment of the fact that they released a game that had so many bugs and
Yep.
things like that. It doesn't take the blame off of them because it's squarely their fault.
And
Because
there was
they were the ones
still
that could have said.
way too much crunch on that
Yeah.
project going into it.
Um,
But it's clear that their QA that they don't have an internal QA department, or it wasn't quite to that size.
yeah.
They outsource their QA, and that's not something that I have been too aware of until really recently. The idea of quality assurance being outsourced to other studios. We mentioned it, I think, last week when a studio that has done work for BioWare, must have been the week before, unionized, and it wasn't BioWare itself, but it was this other small studio that does QA work for them.
Yeah.
So the idea of QA being an outside thing, and it just kind of introduces, here's more ways for stuff to get messed up. Like, within a studio, QA to development can already be a twisted Byzantine pipeline. To introduce the fact that it is a completely different company working on it, how does anything get done? And clearly in the case of 2077, it kind of didn't.
I'm glad that CD Projekt Red seems to have learned from this. I'm glad that
Did they though, or did they just put out the current fire? I won't know that they've learned from it until their next game comes out and we see
At
if they've
least
taken any of the lessons to heart.
At least in the case of the Witcher remaster remake for the current gen consoles, they seem to be doing better with that. The fact that they delayed that very big caveat and that very big recover item, but continue to make mistakes, but continue to learn from those mistakes, corporations. And also, I know there's only a couple more days this month, but it's a little bit taboo for you to change your logo on the 30th. Just as a heads up.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Diablo Immortal is
It's back!
is delayed in China. And there is no release date in sight. This story originally brought to our attention by Twitch.tv's own Sustaina on the Weekend Wednesday Discord under the
Saw
Nerd Glasses
this.
topics. The Chinese Twitter equivalent called Weibo, Weibo,
Okay.
in relation to had an incident where one of the like Diablo Immortal's Weibo account tweeted something in reference to a political statement.
Yep. And
In-
it was something that was meant to be sent from a personal account, but clearly they had actually accidentally used the business account, and I think they noticed it pretty quick and took it down. But by that point, it was out there, it was screenshotted, it was shared.
It was on the internet.
I think we could get away with saying what it actually was here, but if you're hesitant at all about saying it,
I don't want to spend 45 minutes giving context to it. Just it was a statement against the current political leader in China. And if we've discussed anything in this program, we know that in the U.S. you are free to say whatever you want. Not so much in other places. There are a lot stricter things on people, and hopefully folks are safe in so many situations. But that account is now suspended, so they haven't explained why Diablo Immortal is delayed. Just that it is
it
delayed.
just happens to be right around the time that this came out, and that the social media made a Winnie the Pooh reference.
The account itself is suspended from posting because of, quote, a violation of relevant laws and regulations, which includes the many laws they have against attacking political officials on social media platforms. Not like here though. And boy, do I love it. I love seeing everyone's posts, and I want more of them. Keep it up. Keep voting. Stay angry. Anyway, speaking of angry, Overwatch 2.
You have my attention. Oh boy. Oh boy. I had an Overwatch 2 topic, and I was like, Dave, you've got this, right? And he's like, oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
Where's my Overwatch 2 beta, Blizzard? Where is it? I want it. In fact, we'll check here now just to see if it's been a mistake and they accidentally didn't send it to me. Hang on, we'll check my Gmail. Nope. Still no beta access.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Oh, I don't lose, but I do see that fancy word defete a couple times, and I'm not quite sure why. Dudicurse also doesn't have any, and I did ask people to ping me if they got their access while we were alive, so I could say something, but the whole of the Garnted Colt is getting shunned by Blizzard. Is this punishment for us not playing their games for a year? There probably is, looking into factors of account usage.
There probably is,
account
honestly.
Usage, to see the fact that for a whole year none of us played any Activision Blizzard because we won't buy the Watchpoint pack. No, I know Dude Acre's bringing it up in chat, and I know Boder, you're curious, what's the Watchpoint pack? Well, it's a way for people who don't have massive followings on social media or access to Insane Games TV as we do, to be able to join in the Overwatch 2 beta. The Overwatch 2 Watchpoint pack is $39.99 to be purchased on the Battle.net site, and it includes immediate access to the Overwatch 2 beta, where you'll get to play as the new Junker Queen, Sojourn, the new push mode, and the 5v5 experience. Count them, 2 legendary hero skins. One for Cassidy and one for Soldier 76. Both interesting looking. You get a head start on the premium battle pass for season 1.
Like you do, yep.
2,000 Overwatch 2 virtual currency, an exclusive Overwatch 2 player icon, and a copy of Overwatch Legendary Edition, which has a bunch of other goodies included inside of it. Value-wise for $39.99, I mean, it's not bad, but I don't like that that's how I'm probably going to be getting Overwatch. Punishment for not playing more Doomfist, says Mr. Wet. That's probably true. That's very true. So there's so many things I'm frustrated about that. But the other half is the beta came out today.
Yep.
As of press time, it was the 11th most played game on Twitch. It's not even cracking top 10.
And it's not an open invite beta.
And
most viewed or most played?
Viewed.
That is a big difference.
True, but you would figure they would give this to a lot of people that would want to be streaming it and would therefore draw a lot of attention to it, especially because...
I mean, it seems like they have no problem, like the big streamers that are going to get a lot of views have had no problem getting it. Like, they're getting the publicity that they want.
Yes. Especially because this game will be on... This beta is for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Is it for Switch? No. No, says the producer. Okay. So I have all that to pick on. Overwatch 2, and there's 2 other things that are going on, and I'll go with the smaller of the 2, but the one that I don't know that Boder's aware of, but Steve and I were awful kind of mad about. They did a thing to try to get you to watch it and support. They did a very cool thing in so much as Blizzard is going to give people a skin for supporting a streamer by gifting 3 subscriptions to them. It's a healer skin. It looks really cool. It's a Brigida skin, so I'm probably not going to use it, but at the same point, the problem is that it's not any person streaming Overwatch. It's very specific streamers who don't need more advertising or incentives to their community. So it's just a list of the top named Overwatch streamers. If you gift 3 subs, you get it. Whereas in the past, these events and things was if you were playing Overwatch between this date and this date, and you had viewers,
Uh-huh.
you were able to be a part of the giveaways and things like that.
Okay.
And it's a little bit sad to see that they had gone that way as opposed to the other, because man, that would be a boon for small streamers playing Overwatch, and especially might even incentivize some people to watch the streamers that have smaller ends to make sure that their subscriptions are better seen and better appreciated. But bang for your buck. But the biggest bang to come out of this is originally when Papa Jeff was still around back in the before time, and these things were going on, they announced that Overwatch 2 would be a separate entity from Overwatch 1. You'd still be able to play, they would harmonize very well. You just wouldn't get the new maps and the new game mode, which is a fair trade-off.
Yep. And also like one would be the 6v6 and the one is 5v5.
Yep.
Just like differences in how the game plays. These would be coexisting products that would still get support side by side.
Unfortunately, Papa Jeff left us, and now we're seeing why a man that was that successful in his position and had such a good standing with the community and a good understanding of the things left. Because they announced that when Overwatch 2 launches, Overwatch Originals lobbies and servers are going to be closed, and everyone is going to be playing on Overwatch 2, which is free to play, so it's not like they're forcing you to buy into the game.
Yep.
However, they are stripping away the 6v6, which if you are a tank player, you're boned, because there's now going to be 2 DPS, 2 healers, and 1 tank. And don't tell me you're going to play 2 tank, 1 healer, because that doesn't work.
Yeah, it's interesting that like it's using the same characters, and unless they completely rework the balance for the characters in Overwatch 2, which they might do an
They
across
are
the
doing
board
a
tank
lot
buff.
of reworking of the tanks, and
Yeah,
I will
like
say,
if the plan is to go 2-2-1, then they may buff that one pretty hard so that it can still fulfill its role.
what I like about there's a lot to like about Overwatch 2, and I am still very excited for it as a game. But as somebody that does stream Overwatch on a weekly basis and has an average community play of 10,
Mm-hmm.
6 was perfect, because if people were out, if people were tired, this and the other. Now it's 5, which custom games are fun. It'll be great, and we always thrive on those. But it's ensuring that this will always have too many people. An issue of convenience, to be sure, but
Yeah.
sad that also the days of teaming up as 2 tanks on a team and shield meta and all that stuff are going away and are going to be forced away. On the other hand,
Okay.
Overwatch does constantly bring back old game modes, and when they do upgrade it, unlike when they were originally, and I'm very off base with a lot of this, and I know, but follow me through this. When they would upgrade WoW, and they would throw out these things, and they would add these new ones, and this, and that, and the other, before Vanilla WoW was added, and all these other things, you were kind of in it, and you had to deal with whatever it
Yeah.
was, and those things. Overwatch, they seemed to at least understand that when you pull the rug on certain things, if you introduce it as a rotational thing, 6v6 no limits is in every other day, if not daily,
Yep.
and things like that. So I could see 6v6 comps coming in as a special event,
See,
or things
I
like
but
that.
if they rebalance, say, tanks, then bringing 6v6 is just not going to be the same because
It
of game
definitely won't.
balance.
No, because I mean, Doomfist as a tank is terrifying. By the way, absolutely horrifying, and I do not look forward to facing that man. Because for the small amount I did play the Overwatch 2 beta, yikes!
It's interesting, Dave. Did you ever get the chance to see Free Guy?
No.
Because it at the surface level kind of reminds me of that, because I mentioned that the studio in the movie Tsunami reminds me a lot of Activision Blizzard. This was as all the controversy was coming out at the end of last summer. Their Logo looks like Blizzard's logo. It's great. But like one of the plot points is that midway through it's revealed that when Free City 2 comes out, Free City 1 is just going totally offline. And it puts like a ticking timer on the movie where they have to do this within 2 days to do their thing whatever. But it's also in this world of like people they were told that Free City 1 would still be up and then it's nope, it's not. It's going to be gone. You're going to have to go on to the next one. And so it kind of feels a little bit like that kind of rug pull as well, where it's just still like these guys are the obvious villain studio in this movie, and y'all are still living down to it.
Stop being so altruistic, Ryan Reynolds. Stop it.
Dave, I need to kidnap you, and we need to watch Free Guy. It is inexcusable that you have not seen it by now. Anyway,
I do want to see that first-person movie first.
Hardcore Henry?
Yeah. I want to see that one before I see Free Guy. I don't know why in my head, though. Like, I want to see that one before I see Free
I
Guy.
can't this weekend because I'll be out of town for the 4th, but, like, very soon.
Nerd Glasses
definitely.
Free Guy watch party, says Dude Icarus.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, let's book it for a Saturday. We'll do like a, hey, we're starting the movie in 3, 2, 1. Yep. Like...
And actually, that might be interesting. So, like, if we, watch it ahead of time so that, you can see it and you can figure out kind of what you want to say. And then, yeah, we do a watch party. I think it'd be fun. Because otherwise, you're just going to be like, shut up. Shut up, Brian's talking.
So, Overwatch 2, off to an incredibly questionable start. The free-to-play model, the only thing that I'm still holding in high regard is the fact that I love the characters in Overwatch. That's what got me into it.
Yeah.
Was the idea of, and Mr. Wet can tell you, I literally looked at Reinhardt and I went, so I am a big guy with a hammer and my whole job is to hold a shield and protect my teammates. I'm in.
Done. Sold. Where do I sign?
So I love the characters and I love the fact that they aren't going to shit out a bad PvE mode to release with the PvP. Just to try to rationalize putting a price tag on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this now. I am a sucker for this, but I will pay for the PVE when and if it becomes a thing. I would to get that character development of the characters of Overwatch, as long as it hopefully continues in the style that Blizzard has done with the characters. But Overwatch 2, marred and not looking any prettier anytime soon. The one positive of it is not going to have the problems of a Battlefield or things like that, because the Overwatch League is playing it right now. Like every weekend, they have 5v5 going on high performance machines, and they're playing all these things and trying to find game breaking moments and bugs to get an edge competitively.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to really push your game, release it onto the competitive circuit. And that's where we talked about it a month or so ago, where like there was a play and the announcers were just like, that's illegal. Huh. And like, sure enough, like it was ruled as like, well, you can't do that, but it's the kind of thing that is really good for the developers. While the game is technically still not out, it's really like that is public QA for the developers. Here's something game breaking, and all the world saw it. We better fucking fix that, huh?
I will also say I do like that the Overwatch League commentators aren't shills. Like they have their own. To be honest, a lot of them have their own separate agendas. So you can tell who's been having a tough week based upon who's kind of phoning it in on the broadcast. But it's a lot of fun to watch. Overwatch League, you stole my pick'em idea. And just because I never managed to get anybody to finish a whole season pick'em league with me doesn't mean I wasn't doing it before you were. I'll expect my royalties in the mail. I'll accept it in the form of all the Reinhardts you have. Yes. And I know you must have misheard me. I said all the Zenyatta and Reinhardt you have, not.
I think you would have misunderstood me. You think that I meant a lot of. I said all.
All of the Zenyatta and Reinhardt you have, please. So yeah, Overwatch 2. Activision Blizzard, come on, send me a beta key, shut me up,
Yeah,
get me on your side.
The second that game boots on his computer, he's gonna be like, ah.
Oh, it's going to be on my PlayStation. It is not on my PC because
Okay, that's
my
fair.
that poor computer is trying so hard to do things. It really is. Sunglasses hot.
You'll have to let me know what graphics card you're running. If I get a new one, you might be interested in my old one.
Whatever mine is, it's 8 years old. That's the newest part in my computer.
Mine is 6 years old, I think. So okay, cool.
We do have some more topics to talk and things like that, but I also know that it is now 9:05, and poor Steve has been here now for well over 12 hours. So I do want to close on a positive gaming
Okay.
news thing.
Awesome.
In so much as our good friends at Behavior Interactive, the folks who make Dead by Daylight,
Okay.
they are changing Dead by Daylight's most despised feature, the Blood Web, where you unlock items for your heroes and killers or abilities for your heroes and killers. It was very grindy because you get up to a certain level and then you prestige your character. You get this whole like nice little icon, this that, and the other, but then it gets rid of all the unlocks and items that you found, and you have to try to re-get or chase after getting these certain abilities or things. And if you missed one of the 4 core abilities that each of the characters have, you have to try to then get the level 1 the second time you prestige, or the third time, or the fourth time. They have changed it where now if you prestige at level 1, you now unlock all level 1 abilities for both that character and then for you to use on all of your characters, heroes or killers, or survivors or killers.
Mm-hmm.
Same for second level and third level for these, and that reduces the grind by an immense amount and will increase your amount of being able to look for items and weapons and things like that. And fantastic
kind of focus
job.
on like the actual gameplay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoy that Behavior Interactive continues to, while all these other big companies are fucking it up, Behavior Interactive over here is very niche, but very quietly just kind of nodding approvingly at its player base, going like, yes, you continue to enjoy our product and we'll continue to do right by you.
Yep. Exactly. Well, I think that's about everything that we've got tonight. If there's anything left, you can, of course, see it in the Tabled Topics channel on Discord, right down below. Normally, by this point, we are live on the Citadel, but I am super exhausted, and it would be a very short episode anyway as I go home and try to catch up on sleep. So that is why you got this extra long episode of the Nerd Glasses podcast right here. So hope you enjoyed and had a good time. We're gonna get going now, but thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure that you're following us right here at Insane Games TV on Twitch, as well as for so many other streamers and programs that we've got on this network. It's really a fantastic bunch. Mr. Wet that's been in chat the whole time with his own shows. Great stuff. You can catch us again next week, 7:45 Eastern, next Tuesday on the Nerd Glasses podcast, and then I will actually be followed by the Citadel because I'll try to actually get a good night's sleep, where I will be playing Split Second, a combat racer from 2010.
God.
So I'm kind of disappointed I can't play that tonight, but I'm just at this point I can't. So next week, and we hope to see you there. From all of us on the Cruise Day bunch here at Insane Games TV, this has been the Nerd Glasses podcast, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.